Okay, this is the homework P171 for Chapter 10, Lesson 4, finding the area of trapezoids. So we find the area just like it was a parallelogram, where we take the base is 2 here, plus this, which we get that length from up here, 9. So this whole thing is 11 inches. And then we do 7 times 11. Which is 77. And then, since we ultimately, though, only want to know the area of this trapezoid, we have to cut this area in half. So we have to multiply by 1/2. Okay, or we can multiply by 0.5, or we can divide by 2. I'm going to divide by 2. 2 goes into 7 3 times. 3 times 2 is 6, minus, gives me 1, bring down my 7. Goes in 8 times, 16, subtract gives me 1. I can add a decimal, bring that 0 down, bring my decimal up. 2 goes into 10 5 times, subtract gives me 0. So 38.5. Okay. So again, you're doing those same steps for each problem. So here, the base would be 15 plus 9, which is 24. So you do 24 times 7, you get that answer, and then you're going to take this answer and divide it by 2, or multiply by 0, or you're going to take the answer and multiply it by 1/2, or you're going to take the answer and multiply it by 0.5. All 3 of these ways will get you the final answer that you're looking for. Okay. Again, you can rewind, pause, raise your hand if you have questions. Okay, same thing here. Base is 16. From here to here would be plus 12. This length is how we get this number. So this whole length is going to be 28. And then we do 28 times the height, 10. We get 280. But since ultimately we only want the area of this trapezoid, we have to cut this in half. So again, 3 ways to do that. You can divide it by 2. You can multiply by 1/2, or you can multiply by 0.5. Again, all 3 of those ways will get you your correct final answer as long as you do the math correctly. Okay. Let's go over another example. Okay, here they gave you the whole base. Now don't get too confused. I know it takes a second because it's upside down and we're not used to seeing it like that. But don't get too confused. It's still base times height. So this time they actually gave us the whole base. Okay, but they did not give us the whole height, I guess you could say. So we need to go for this rectangle. To find the area of this rectangle, it's got to be 100 times, and then from here to here is 48, and from here to here is this length here, 24. So we're going to take 48 plus 24. That's going to give us our length from here to here. So that's going to be 60, 72. So then we take 100, this length, times 72, which is just going to be 72 with 2 zeros behind it, 7,200. And then we can do any of 3 things to get the half, because we only want the area of this trapezoid, not the area of the whole rectangle. So we take the area of the whole rectangle, 7,200. We can multiply it by 1/2 to get our final answer. We can take that and multiply it by 0.5 to get our final answer, or we can take that and divide it by 2 to get our final answer. All three of these operations will give us the same answer. Okay. Again, you could pause, rewind, raise your hand if you have any questions. Okay, let's look at the next one. We have a parallelogram. Whoops, I don't know why that one happened. See, I find something new, a new problem every day. We have a parallelogram. The base of this parallelogram is here, which this length they told us is 30, and from here to here we use this length because we're just taking this same trapezoid and flipping it over basically. So this is going to be 17. So 30, the whole length, all of this would be 30 plus 17, which is 47, times the height, 22. Multiply that out. 2 times 7 is 14. 2 times 4 is 8. Plus the 1 is 9. Kiss that 2 goodbye. Hug it out. No hard feelings too. 2 times 7 is 14. 2 times 4 is 8. Plus the 1 is 9. Add that all up. 4, 13, 10. Now we take that number, because again, this number is the area of this entire parallelogram, and we only want the area of this trapezoid, so we want half of that. So to get half, we can take that number and multiply it by 1/2. That will give us our correct final answer. We can take that number and multiply it by 0.5, and that will give us our final answer. Or we can take that number and divide it by 2. Any one of these operations. So do the one that you're most comfortable with. Okay. All right, let's go on to the next one. Again, you just need to get more scratch paper. You don't have to erase anything. Okay. Find the area of this entire parallelogram. We have to do base times the height. Height is 8. Base from here to here is 4.5, and from here to here is this number, 11.5. So from here to here would be 4.5 plus 11.5, which would be 16. And then our height is 8. So base times height gives us our parallelogram. 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 8 is 8, plus 4 is 12. And then once we have the area of the parallelogram, we want half of that to find the area of the trapezoid. So we can take 128, multiply it by 1/2, and that will give us our final answer. Or we could do 128 times 0.5 to get our final answer. Or we can take 128 and divide it by 2 to get our final answer. Any of those will work. I'll let you do that math though. But again, if you need additional help, please don't hesitate, raise your hand. Okay, a cake is made out of 2 identical trapezoids, so it's some kind of parallelogram. Each trapezoid has a height of 11, so we know the height is 11. The bases of 9 and 14, so we have to combine the 2 bases, add the 2 bases. So 9 plus 14 is going to be 23. What is the area of one trapezoid? So this would be the area of the whole parallelogram. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 2 is 2. Kiss that one goodbye. Hug it out. No hard feelings. 1. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 2 is 2. Add that up. Now I take this number and I can do my 3 options. I can take 253 and multiply it by 1/2 to get my final answer. I can take 253 and multiply it by 0.5 to get my final answer. Or I can take 253 and divide it by 2 to get my final answer. Any one of those will work. I'm going to let you do this math, but again, if you need any help, please don't hesitate, raise your hand. Excuse my sniffling, I've got bad allergies today. A sticker is in the shape of a trapezoid. The height is 3, and the bases are 2.5 and 5.5, so we need to add the two bases. 2 and 5 is 7, and then 1/2 plus 1/2 would be another 1, so that would be 8. And then it says, what is the area of the sticker? So we multiply, we get 24. Once we get that answer, we can take 24 and multiply it by 1/2 to get our final answer, or we can take 24 times 0.5 to get our final answer, or we can take 24 and divide it by 2 to get our final answer. Any one of those will work. Do the one that works for you, and I would just stick to that. Whatever one you like the best, I would probably just stick to it. But you'll know you really understand the math if you can do all three. All right. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.